Hi, Sally. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, everyone.
We're going to let people come in and just enjoy some of the installation views while we wait for a few minutes.
Yeah, I went up and saw the show. It's fabulous.
It's a fun show.
Yeah, I mean, it's so much more amazing when you can see it in person than as great as the photos are.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
It really is a beautiful show. Just amazing, the work. Everything's so different. People have really loved coming into the gallery and seeing the work. And as I was telling Cristina earlier today, the gallery is very busy today with people coming up to see the show before the end of the show.
Okay.
And we had a woman come up all the way from Northampton, Massachusetts, just to see the work.
Whoa.
Yeah, and she wasn't a member, so I told her all about NEBA. And
We do have a lot of members in the Northampton area. So maybe,
yeah,
maybe she's a friend of someone that's in the show.
could be.
Yeah.
Although she didn't say so, she was kind of quiet. But I was thrilled that she came back, and then I sent her to Concord for lunch.
Awesome.
And then another couple came by who was on their way home from vacation, going back to Portland, Maine, and stopped in and were amazed by the gallery. And Adele, they were looking for good coffee in Boscawen, and when I said the only thing they had was Dunkin' Donuts, they all wrinkled their noses. So I sent them to Concord to Revelstoke.
You could have given them our coffee.
I suppose I could have. I don't know. They seemed very particular. Oh, look at their picture. That looks great.
Yes. God, I've forgotten all about that.
The bosses.
This picture here was taken on the day the Little Free Library was dedicated.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. That was in like May of 2019.
Well,
And
we're in our 9th year.
yeah.
Yeah.
You had the Book Arts book exhibition.
Oh,
it's in that show as well. I think
That's right. And that's why we launched the little library during that show. Yeah. That's right. We went out and did a little dedication. I don't know what I read. I read about the history of the libraries in New Hampshire or something like that.
I stop by every time, and sometimes I leave some zines, and sometimes I leave cookbooks.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
I may have picked up a cookbook or two, Cristina.
Yeah, I have an excess of cookbooks all the time. It seems like I'm always like leaning into one, and then I choose to go in a different direction.
Would you be willing to share your sweet pickle recipe with me? I ate that you gave those to me to take home after the opening, and I devoured them in like 2 days.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's so delicious.
It's a classic bread and my husband calls them bread and bubbas instead of bread and butters.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a nice recipe. I'm happy to help you with that.
Oh, that'd be great. Thank you.
I remember the day that we installed, Laura and I installed, and we had started unpacking the books and just had them laid around before we were getting a sense of the layout. And lots of people were coming and going that day. I believe there was a meeting or a workshop maybe. And they were getting excited before we even set it up. So it's kind of cool to see how people have reacted. Like when I was there, like the times that I've been just visiting, and how strongly people seem to have reacted to it. Yeah.
Well, people are coming in because they're so intrigued. They've never heard of artist books.
Yeah.
And so they were very curious about it, and you know, really taken with it all. And you know, on some books where you said it was okay to pick up, everyone's been very gentle and handled everything very nicely.
I like the additional content on the labels so that we're getting a little bit fuller artist statement instead of just the materials and the time, the dates and
Yes, I'm glad we did that because people really added to the exhibition for everybody. And you know, and they all took their time really looking at each one and reading the labels and then looking again.
Yeah. Carolyn lent her little étagère, I guess is what this is called, this shelf unit that worked out perfectly for our.
Yeah, it did.
For all the tiny books.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, we pulled out every single pedestal
Yeah.
we had, and we needed
won.
that. We needed the little shelf and the étagère
Yeah.
to finish it off. I don't know. It would have been a quick run out to Target, I think. To get something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you ever get vinyl letters up on the wall?
No, we never did do that, but I moved the blue, you can see the blue accordion piece that was hanging in the middle. I moved that to the other wall.
That one?
Yeah, to the opposite, and then moved
Good.
the other hanging piece over to that place, and that was the ticket for making the place, making
Good.
everything feel a little more vibrant on the walls.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're going to get started. Carolyn, do you want to kind of help me with my intro for our show and tell, or should I take it away?
I think you should take it away. This is
Awesome.
a special show and tell that has to do with Building Books 2, the show that's up in Twiggs Gallery in Boscawen, New Hampshire, and Cristina is going to be our hostess tonight.
Okay, great. So a couple of years ago, we came up with the words building book to kind of hopefully share our enjoyment about building NEBA as a community and actually being bookmakers, and the idea that COVID had really been with us, and us feeling that home was important and structure, and generally just noticing that a whole lot of our members were already kind of incorporating notions of architecture and location and home and structure and these types of ideas within some of their books already. It just kind of seemed like a wonderful title and a really great way to launch into our exhibitions being in person again. So we had a really great show at the Glickman Library up at the University of Southern Maine in Portland, Maine. And that show had about, I think, 24 people in it. And we were limited by the case structure that the library had for us to use as display, which was okay. And it was a beautiful library, and I really enjoyed that show, and we had a very good response. It just was really nice to try to pick a venue for the second time that this show traveled, to be at a place that was going to give us a little more expansion, a little more idea of being able to see the books in full and have a wider variety of sizes of books. So Building Books 2 has been at Twiggs Gallery in Boscawen. I have a personal connection with Twiggs because I have taught occasionally there, as well as knowing Adele Sanborn and Laura Morrison from the Women's Caucus for Art group. I'm in the New Hampshire chapter. The Boston chapter is not really that active any longer, or even in existence. I'm not 100% sure what its status is, but I've really enjoyed hanging out with the New Hampshire ladies. And some of them are now our members. And so a lot of the Twiggs community and I have gotten to know each other over the last like 6 or 7 years. It's a really wonderful place. I'm going to hand off and let Laura Morrison talk a little bit more about how we got going on Twiggs.
Yeah, so thank you, Cristina. So you refreshed my memory that we started talking about this when we did Building Books, or it was Book Arts Art Books, or Art Books Book Arts show, and you had talked about traveling an exhibition to Twiggs, and I was interested. And I don't, when was that show again? You said 20?
May 2019.
Oh my goodness, before
That's when the
COVID.
show date. That was the
Yeah.
opening reception. It's been a while. Yeah.
It's been a while. So anyhow, you approached me again about reminding me about that and traveling the show to Twiggs, and we have a really nice little book art community already, because we usually do at least 2 or 3, sometimes 4 bookmaking classes each session. And we have an altered book group that meets once a month in one of the classrooms. 6 or 7 women get together and work on their books. So there's a lot of interest in book arts, and I knew that this would be a really great show for us. And also, I really wanted to inspire the students who come to Twiggs to see really, the amazing books that I knew would come with this show, because everyone's working in so many different ways. So was excited to have it.
Yeah. It was fun to spend the day hanging it and tweaking
was-
it, and then the reception day and having a standing room only for our Zoom workshop. It was a fun day. Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
Zoom people kept coming in because they're so used to having make and take drop-ins that I'm like, we got an hour. But you really rolled with it. So you were terrific. And in fact, a lady said today that she had gone to the zine workshop, had never known anything about zines, and was just enthralled with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had some interesting kind of backgrounds that I Xerox for people to work into to make it go faster, for them to get a little quicker with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It helps
Yeah.
helps you get more done in that 1 hour.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
they loved it.
Let's talk to Adele and get some pictures going so Adele can share. Let's see.
Okay. Can I talk?
Yeah. Hi, Adele.
Hiya. So thank you guys all so much. I am truly blown away with the show. There's some pieces in it that I so admire. And it was interesting today, as Laura said, it was really, really busy. And we had one particular 2 women who came in, and one of them had taken some really basic beginning bookmaking class. And she just went from book to book to book, and she went, oh my gosh, look what you could do. So hooray for all of you. I think it's really, really exciting, and it amazes me here at Twiggs. A show such as this, the audience it attracts, that's all over the universe. Everybody from educational people to just people who don't have a clue what making a book is involved with. So thank you, thank you, thank you, one and all, for pulling it all together. And I'm pretty active in Women's Caucus for Art in New Hampshire. We have a really, really active group. And at Twiggs, we have a group that meets once a month. And not everybody is a WCA member, but this is the book that we put together. There were 3 people in the group who said, I would really like to do something as a collaboration and see if we could put together some kind of a book and show it around. So there was a group of us, there were 4 of us who kind of spearheaded the whole thing. It was based on choosing a structure that was meaningful to the person that was making it. So some were childhood family homes, and one in particular has a tractor that actually pops out, and it's 2-sided, so you can view it from the front side or the back side. And it was really fun to do. It was 4 of us that put it together, and that was a little bit of a challenge because you had to have something that was really expandable, because there were 12 people that participated, and the substrate was pretty thick so that it would be able to stand up on its own. But it was a really fun project, and it was fun to work with 3 other people that were very, very different styles and see exactly what people were interested in portraying. So that would have been, I think that was the back side. And then the other side was front, but it all folds up and then has a little picket fence that closes it all in. And then of course it has to have a container. So it all goes into that little box on the right-hand side.
And there's also a little book,
Yes, that has each
a
person.
little book for the book.
Yeah, that explains why they did it. And that's inside in a pocket. So. Cool.
Adele, was this inspired? I can't remember. Was this inspired because of COVID and everyone was at home?
No, interestingly enough, I looked it
Okay.
up. It was 2021 that we did this. So it literally must have been just before the shutdown. 'Cause
No,
we
the
all-
shutdown was 2020.
Well, we all met and put it together in my studio. So I don't know how that all worked. And we weren't wearing masks, so I don't know.
Maybe it says 2021, maybe it was
Yeah.
later in 2021.
Probably.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
loved how we were able to create the bridge over the two pedestals so that you could really see
Yes.
both sides and fully walk around it. And the same goes for the other. We made three in kind of like a W sort of shape going
Yes,
across the space. And I think it works really nice to be able to see all the sides.
that does. It
Yeah.
really does. Yeah.
Lovely.
Thank you.
I love the idea of the picket fence that wraps around. That's just brilliant.
Fantastic. Thank you, Adele. All right. Next up is going to be Susan Marsh. Hi, Susan.
Oh, hello. First, I really want to thank Adele and Laura and Cristina for putting together this incredible show. The gallery is just lovely. The scale of it is just right for all the books, even the teeny tiny books. You can really experience and appreciate, and they don't get lost. So thank you for all your hard work.
Oh, our pleasure.
Yes, thank you.
So my little book is called Building a Home. And when we first had the idea of the exhibit being building books, I knew I wanted to build a house out of books. And so I had an idea of, I wanted this little box, and I wanted the roof to be a book, and then open up the little box, and inside would be a bunch of little boxes, little books inside. And so I went to Wild Acres to an art retreat, and Catherine Cross-Simpsos was the instructor, and I knew there would be an indigo vat, and I knew I wanted to do a little plaster box, and I wanted to dip it in the indigo vat. And I knew we'd have all kinds of fun papers and be doing all kinds of things. So I brought my materials down there, and I used a book board, and I covered it with plaster, and then I dipped it in indigo vat, and then actually on the way down on the airplane on to and fro, I was sewing the roof. So I dyed all the fabric and all the threads, and so I just sewed the roof, and then all the. Do you want to show some of the?
I do. I was going to suggest us.
Yeah, that would be
peek.
great. Yeah, you should take a peek. Might make more sense. So that was the initial concept that I had in my head. And then the little belly band comes off and the front door opens, and inside are all the little books. And that's the little roof. And our attic is not an unfinished space. So the attic book is empty inside. It's just indigo dyed mulberry paper.
I'm going to do a little bit better job on this. Hang on.
Sure, no problem.
There we go.
Okay. So I built our little house, and each of the little books inside the house correspond to rooms in our house. And the books themselves, the covers are made out of grocery bags that I painted. And then inside, I used a variety of different papers that were either rusted or indigo dyed, of obviously old book pages, sheet music, and graph paper, all of which is important paper to me. My background is in architecture. In each of the books, I did drawings of objects in our house that have special meaning or history or associations with a place or an event or people. And it's all those objects that I think make a house into a home. So it's actually a very personal book. But I had an awful lot of fun making it and then doing all the little sketches in it as well. And it's just pen and ink drawings. So
Susan, on one of the covers, it had like little white
yeah,
rectangles. Yeah, that one. What is
That's-
that?
that's gesso. I have a little plastic
Yes, yes. Oh, what a great idea.
You said you had a little plastic and then I didn't hear.
It's a little plastic disc that's used like, I'm not sure what, I think I use it with some kind of sewing or needlework or like to make a strong base. But it has concentric rings in it that are little squares. And it's a really great template for stenciling and just adding a little bit of texture and pattern.
Really neat.
So stencil with gesso, yeah.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Your binding is lovely with the little bead in the center.
Thank you.
Are those metal beads?
They are metal beads, they're little brass beads.
No, it's great. I love it.
In the grand
Oh.
finale.
Acorn feet to raise.
Acorn bead, how
I
cute
never
is
noticed
that?
that. Huh. Love it.
Yep, and then I found some little twigs that I put on the eave of the house to keep the roof from falling off.
Oh,
So appropriate to the gallery.
Yes,
yes.
Yeah.
great.
my little
Absolutely.
tip of the hat to Twiggs Gallery.
Yeah. So how did you create the texture on the box? It looks like
It's plaster. So I used book glue
gauze.
and I wrapped it with the plaster, the plaster gauze that you just add water to,
Hmm?
little strips of plaster, and then I dipped it in the indigo.
It almost has a reverse braille look
Yeah,
with the little holes
yeah,
go in. And because they're square, you know, with the gauze that has the way it's woven and the tiny little marks that braille has. Anyway, it's really, really neat. I'm so glad we got to see the inside at the show. You can't just take out a book and, you know, spread it out and
right.
um
Well,
yeah.
you could, I put a little label on that people could
But
look
they-
at the books
that would
carefully.
I'd be
Yeah.
too
for
chicken.
people to look at.
But most people are too chicken. You're right.
Oh yeah, I'd knock the whole thing over and it would there would be one there and one there. No, it's really darling. Especially the scale of it is so precious.
Yeah.
Well, I was moved by it enormously, and that's why I asked you to show it today. Not only are you obviously an exceptional NEBA member due to how much you volunteer for us and all the wonderful newsletters and all the great stuff you do, but I really think that that's a strong piece. I think it just shows material interest in material that's just beyond. You know, you're just really taking it every little step of the way to another level. And it's just super, super wonderful and tactile. And those little white dots being raised like that just are so much better than just a white dot. You know, it's just wonderful. All the little touches. Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Christina.
Awesome. Okay, Miss Carolyn is up next.
Well, hi everyone. Those of you who know me that I really like to laugh, and just about everything I do ends up in a laugh. And when Cristina told us about the concept of building books, the word house popped into my head. And then the word cat house, I mean, the whole thing just sort of came up in a full vision. And I just think it was so funny. And those of you who don't know, most of you probably know that a cat house is what brothel was referred to in the I think in the 1800s, because people, didn't use direct words back then. It was pretty restrained. So to me, and I love animals, all of my books that have content have animals in them, primarily sheep. So I've gone off my own script and included cats. I mean, personally, if I could have 100 cats, I would. I just love them to pieces. So this cat house thing, I just knew I could find 6 or 8 little old-fashioned illustrations of sexy little women that were scantily clad from that had a historic presence, and then finding little cat faces that had maybe the right tilt or the right angle to put on these little women that I found, and they were all different. I just had a wonderful time doing it. And I had every intention of having it in Building Books 1, but I had 3 surgeries in a year and a half that put all of my art on the back burner. And it was all about healing for me. And I had to pull out of that show. And I couldn't really make art during that time when I was healing. And then there it was when I was ready to do it, and Building Books 2 was there, and I just made it happen. To me, a brothel has a lot of red, a lot of velvet, a lot of, touchy-feely wallpaper that's fuzzy and kind of craggy looking and a little bit worn, and a lot of curtains that would either hide or not hide depending on the circumstances of that person and who wanted them. So that was my idea, and I just got, thanks to Cristina, I had marbling, I had little scrap packs of hers, and I just kind of started putting it together. And the last thing, though, was the front cover of this little book. I knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't really sure if I could pull it off, because I wanted it to look kind of like an antique house. So I'm not sure that it's totally successful, but I had a great time drawing it and putting it together. So each of the little ladies I have a little strip of balsa wood that's kind of in the shape of their back, of their shape, and glued to them so that they sort of sit off the background. And I just worked out little kind of environments for them. They all have the same floor. And that's the only thing that's the same. The on the back of the book, that's the shy one with the bows. She's not so shy. She's shy. So that vertical red and gold, that's the fuzzy wallpaper. That's where it ended up. So to me, the experience hopefully is, the front and back are different, but I think they just continue to, kind of tumble along so that there's a certain unity in the disunity of it. But I think it's funny, and I had a great time doing it. And I'm waiting for Building Books 3 because I have another little whorish concept.
A
So-
whorish concept.
whorish?
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Excellent.
This
So
was
that-
an amazing book. This was so much fun.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Well, hopefully nobody was offended. I I can't,
Wow.
I couldn't see how any of these lovely little ladies could offend anyone, but you never know anymore.
It's just funny. I mean,
It's
it just
funny.
really makes you giggle when you look at it.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so glad. The second one in has a little note in her hand and it says, "Come as you are." It was,
Mm.
it was part of that little woman's drawing. And I thought, well, that's pretty darn perfect. I was thinking of, making a cutout and writing something else on it. And well, I couldn't think of anything better than that.
Yeah.
I love the use of torn paper to make the curtains, all the different ways you did it. It's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, this one's off the charts, honey. Love it.
Yeah.
Love the kitties in the windows. Yeah, I love
Mhm.
all the little extra little markers with the brick design. Yeah. Your attention to detail is amazing. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, it's a really sweet book.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of fun. And yeah, you're right. The attention to detail and all the little touches.
Just really well made. It's well constructed. It looks like it's gonna stay together forever. It's like really nicely done.
Oh, damn well better.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes when you're doing lots of little bits, lots of collage, you have to have your technique really tight because
Yeah.
this can fall off. Yeah.
It's called permanent spray mount.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, just love, love, love on that
And
one.
I also too want to thank everyone at Twiggs for the wonderful reception and to have this show at a gallery as opposed to say a library or a town building or something like that, just to me really elevates it and shows off everyone's work in a way that is just so wonderful. And it was just a joy to be there and see it. So
Well,
thanks.
I've seen a lot of, I'm not a book artist, but I hang with people. And
In
and
more ways than
in
one.
more way than one. And I love looking at book art in museums and such. And this is a world-class show, you guys. I mean, it really was quite exceptional. I was super excited when Cristina started unpacking all the books. It was like Christmas. And we had them all piled in the middle. I'm like, oh, I don't know how we're gonna put them all out.
Yeah, we were like, oh, there's so many. And then we were like, oh my God, how many pedestals? And it was just like, boom, boom, boom. But it came together
Yeah.
fast. And I loved the way you had those little easel holders for some of them, the little ones. The little easel holder for the
With the little
labels.
labels. Yeah.
Yeah. Our binder is nice looking, now that we've done this once already, we're getting a little tighter with our presentation. It makes it a little bit easier to do the next one. Yeah.
And people look at the binder. They really do.
They really do.
Yes.
They spend time with it, which I think is
Yes, they
nice.
do. It's always
That's
nice to
good
have
to
those.
know.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody want to chime in with some questions? The next building books again is going to be July and August, and the Mark Twain Library, which apparently was the public library in Reading, Connecticut, that Mark Twain went to occasionally. I don't think it has like it's not like it's a Mark Twain like special collection thing. I don't know why it's called the Mark Twain Library other than him being his hometown, really. Yeah.
He slept there.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm just
Sounds
saying.
like George Washington slept here, so.
The thing that's cool about the
George
library,
Washington Library.
Do you have any
Yes.
cats?
I don't know, but they have in the middle of this like center of this like little library a Stonehenge, and this is what they call it, a Stonehenge display system that are these cases that you can see from all sides that are like set up like Stonehenge.
Huh.
Peace.
Interesting.
So it's got cases, but the cases are much more flexible. So we won't be able to do the wall hung, obviously, but you can adjust heights and do big, weird stuff and shapes that are kind of strange. And the cases are pretty good size. I'm currently in Pandora's book there, and I haven't physically been to the library yet. So I need to go check out this Stonehenge.
It sounds quite beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool looking, yeah, from the pictures. So that'll be Building Books 3 and Show and Tells, Carolyn. Apparently we're gonna get cranked up again in September and get busy, right?
Yes.
So we
Yeah.
need to let people know about some dates coming up soon. We'll let you know
Yep.
next newsletter or online or at some
Yeah.
point. September, October is going to be the zine swap results. So if you're zining, a lot of us are ziners. I've already done my zine for our swap. I'm ready to rumble. I might even have time to do the box design this year. I have an idea
You
for another
do?
box design.
And
Anyway,
is
so that'll be in the
zine-
November and December.
But the zines are due September 15th.
Yes,
Ah,
that's by PDF.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can pop us a PDF and then you'll get your PDF once I get everybody's info together and we'll have us a swap. What other info do people have any other ideas of catching up to do before we say goodbye?
Hi, is there a theme for that zine?
The zine swap has very, very little restrictions. It's a single sheet. It can be either one-sided or two in black and white, 8.5 by 11. And we do the ox plow, and all of this is on our website if you want to find out. Open theme, but it needs to be black and white PDF, one-sided or two. So yeah, we have a crazy open theme, so you can pretty much hit us with whatever fun zine you want to make. I'm doing a fan zine from one of my favorite songs that I've been kind of stuck in my head. It's called French Fries with Pepper. It's a weird quick zine that I just had fun making, and I did a version of it in black and white, and then I squirted it with ketchup and took a, because it's French fries with pepper, right? I squirted it with ketchup and took a photo of it and made a color zine of it too. So the NEBA zine swap will just have the black and white version, no ketchup.
Cool.
Add
But
your
I
own.
hope you guys are having a fun summer, and we're looking forward to getting back at it in September.
and I do want to remind people that we're going to do Post It with Love 3, which is the collaborative Valentine card exchange. So be thinking about that before you know it. It's going to be February 14th.
Yep. So lots of things burning on the back burners. So we gotta see what's hopefully we're not getting sunburned while things are burning.
I have just a little announcement if that's
Sure,
okay.
go for it.
I have a show at Bromer Gallery, Books and Prints. So I would like to plan a time when I could talk to, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 people. Is that something that I could plan
We
with
could
you?
do a field trip idea.
Yeah, it's hard to get into Boston right now. You know, the tea that I take, there's shuttle buses is kind of a drag, and then parking is a drag in Boston, but I don't know, maybe we could work something out.
Look, some carpooling maybe.
Yeah.
I tried to get in there, but a couple of weekends ago, but they're not open on the
No,
weekend.
the hours are Monday through Friday from 10 to 5.
Yeah, I
Yeah, they
can't
don't
wait
have
to
any.
get there.
Yeah.
And how long will your show be up?
Up until November 15th, that's what they say. So
Wowie.
Oh, so we could do it after the summer.
Yeah.
yes,
Why don't we
definitely.
why don't we try to make a field trip for September out of it?
Sounds good. All right.
I
we
would
can
love
talk.
it. I would love to
Okay.
hear get a more personal look than just visiting it. I'd like it to be with you, obviously.
They have
Fantastic.
hundreds of miniature books, so it's a really not mine. I mean other people's, but they just have. It's a very cool place to go. They've got like miniature books under $100. They've got just like teeny tiny books. It's a fun place to go.
Do they have any with acorns?
I don't know. Maybe
I'm kidding.
maybe they want Susan's.
Now that was our one sale, right, at the show was the Acorn book.
Mia G'day, she's she's one of our newer members. She is a Boston librarian at the Central Copley Square branch. She's really cool. We're talking with them about potentially Again, library cases are a little bit restrictive, but they are nice, high visibility. The Boston Public Library is one of the people that I'm thinking about approaching for building books for. Because we haven't done, the Metro Boston area, so we might as well. I'd like to get building books into every New England state. Like one place in each state is my goal. And then at that point, I think we'll have enough coverage to maybe think about making some kind of a mag cloud or print on demand book, blurb book or something out of the imagery, maybe. Have to get a little bit more volume. Yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
all good ideas. Lovely chatting with all you ladies tonight.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Awesome
you.
show.
Fun.
What a pleasure to be in such amazing company at this show. Really, really nice.
Thank you, everyone, for contributing your work.
Yes.
I'm gonna be sad to see it go.
Yeah.
You can still see some of it online though, because we've got good coverage on the website.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right.
Well,
Thank
and
you.
maybe we can do it again in
Yeah,
the future.
yeah.